Hey everyone, welcome to today's deep dive, and we're going to be taking a look at life after divorce.
Ooh, yeah.
It's a big one, right?
Absolutely.
And we know that, divorce is a huge life change, and there are tons of emotions that go along with it.
Absolutely.
So we're going to kind of try to go through everything we've been looking at in our research to help you not just get through this time, but really thrive, in this new chapter of your life.
Yeah, and it's interesting because a lot of people compare this to the stages of grief.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Like you go through a roller coaster of emotion.
Totally. And we have some work from Dr. Elizabeth Kubler-Ross about, the stages of grief, denial,
Yeah.
anger, bargaining, all that.
Yeah, and all of those feelings are totally normal. It's okay to feel sad or lost or angry.
Yeah.
You're grieving the end of a relationship, and that takes time.
And something that stood out to me from the research was this idea that how long it takes to heal can be related to how long the marriage was.
Oh, that's right. And some therapists suggest it takes about a year for every 5 years that you were married.
Wow.
So, just be patient with yourself.
Right. So if you're like 2 years out and you're like, I should be over this by now,
Exactly.
and you were married for 10 years,
Yeah.
like, okay, no, be patient.
Yeah, give yourself time.
And I know for me, like, journaling was really helpful, not just to kind of like vent, but to see over time, like, oh, okay, I'm not feeling that as intensely anymore.
Oh, that's a great point. Yeah, journaling can be so powerful
Yeah.
because you can look back and track your progress.
Yeah, absolutely. So, okay, we've talked about the emotional roller coaster,
Yes.
but divorce isn't just, an emotional thing. It affects every part of your life, your money, where you live, your friends.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And, it's important to deal with the emotional stuff, but the practical stuff is important too.
Yeah. So let's start with money, because a lot of the articles we read said that's the biggest stressor, after a divorce, especially if you go from two incomes to one.
Right. And, the first thing you should do is sit down and take a look at your finances.
Yeah.
Figure out what you're spending, what's coming in.
Create a budget.
Yes, exactly. And don't be afraid to get help from like a financial advisor.
Totally. Yeah,
Yeah.
because they know all this stuff.
Exactly.
Okay, so what about living arrangements? Because whether you're downsizing or moving or even just staying in the same place but try and make it feel like yours again,
Right.
that's a big one.
It is. It's a big change, but you can look at it as an opportunity to create a space that's really you.
I love that. Yeah.
Yeah, so get rid of the clutter. Change things around, add things you love.
It's like make it feel like a sanctuary.
Ah,
Yeah.
exactly.
That's so important. And then, while you're doing all that, your social life might be changing too.
That's true. Some friendships might kind of fade away and others might get even stronger.
Right. It's like you figure out who your real friends are.
Exactly. And it's a good time to meet new people too.
Oh, yeah.
Like maybe join a club or
Yeah.
try a new activity.
Yeah, you're kind of finding your people.
Exactly. Your tribe.
Yeah.
So we've got to talk about self-care.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, you've been through a lot, so taking care of yourself is so important.
So what are some practical things you can do?
Well, the basics are still important. Eating healthy foods, getting enough sleep, exercising.
There's the foundation, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then, think about things you enjoy that help you relax, like maybe taking a bath, reading, listening to music.
Yeah, just like rediscovering yourself and what makes you happy.
Yeah, and you can reconnect with old hobbies or try new things.
Yeah, like who are you now, right?
Exactly.
But, even if you're doing all the self-care right, there's still going to be days that are hard.
That's true. And you don't have to go through this alone.
Yeah.
Talk to your friends, your family.
Yes, ask for help.
Yeah, and if you need more support, don't be afraid to talk to a therapist.
Exactly. And that's not a sign of weakness.
No, not at all.
It's like, okay, I need a little extra help right now.
Exactly.
So we've talked about the hard stuff. Let's
Yeah.
talk about, really embracing this new chapter. I love that.
It's not just about getting through the divorce, it's about thriving afterward.
Yeah, it's about seeing the possibilities and writing a new story for yourself.
Like, what does happiness look like for you now?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Maybe you'll go after a dream job or take that trip you always wanted to take.
Right. Or discover a new passion.
Absolutely. And, celebrate the small victories along the way.
Yeah, it's all about progress, right?
Exactly.
So what about relationships? Is it okay to start dating again?
That's a great question. And there's no right answer. It's different for everyone.
Right.
Like, it's totally fine to focus on yourself and your own healing for a while.
Yeah, take your time.
Yeah. And then when you feel ready, you can start to think about new relationships.
So be open to it when you're ready.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've covered a lot today: the emotional roller coaster money, living arrangements,
Yeah.
self-care, and starting to embrace this new chapter. But there's one more big thing we need to talk about, and that's rediscovering your strength.
Oh, yeah. That's a good one.
We'll dive into that more after a quick break. We'll be right back. So we were talking about rediscovering your strength, and I think that's something that people don't realize until they're going through something like divorce.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
you find out how strong you actually are.
Absolutely. You have to tap into this resilience that you didn't even know you had.
Right. And you learn to adapt and solve problems and be independent in ways you maybe didn't have to before.
Yeah, like you're put to the test.
Yeah, exactly. And you come out the other side like, wow.
Yeah, it's like a fresh start.
Yeah, and you get to decide who you are now, what you want.
Right.
And that strength that you've built up is going to help you so much going forward.
Definitely.
It's like you kind of have to become more self-reliant, right?
Yeah. You learn to trust your own instincts,
Mm-hmm.
make your own decisions.
And that can be really empowering.
It is.
So as you're going through this whole process, just remember to celebrate those little wins.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Like acknowledge your strength, give yourself credit.
And you don't have to have everything figured out right away.
Totally. Yeah, be kind to yourself.
Yeah.
One of the articles we read talked about finding joy in unexpected places
Oh, yeah.
because it's so easy to focus on like the logistics and the challenges,
It is so-
forget to look for the good stuff.
You have to shift your perspective and focus on the opportunities.
Yeah, like what's good about this?
Exactly. Like maybe you have more time to do things you enjoy.
Right. Or you're learning new things about yourself.
Yeah. And sometimes those hard times lead to really great things.
Yeah, like that article about the woman who started her own bakery
Oh, yeah.
after her divorce.
She'd always loved baking, but never had the time, and then she went for it.
Exactly. So be open to new experiences.
Yeah. You never know what's out there.
Right. And don't be afraid to try new things.
Definitely.
This makes me think about the idea of post-traumatic growth.
Oh, yeah.
Have you heard of that?
I have.
It's this idea that after you go through something traumatic, you can actually end up stronger and more resilient.
It's amazing, right?
Yeah.
The human spirit is so powerful.
It really is. And it's not about pretending that divorce is easy.
No.
It's more like acknowledging the hard stuff, but also seeing the potential for growth.
Right. You can learn and evolve from it.
So for anyone out there who's feeling lost or overwhelmed, you are stronger than you think.
That's so important to remember.
You can heal and rebuild and create a life that's even better than before.
Absolutely. And you're not alone.
Right. There are so many resources and people who want to help you.
Yeah, for sure.
So we've talked about the internal work of healing and all that.
Yeah.
But what about the external stuff, like the legal and financial side of
Oh,
divorce?
that's a big one. It can be really complicated and stressful.
Yeah. One of the articles we read said it's so important to have a good lawyer.
Absolutely. Someone who specializes in family law.
Yeah, they can help you understand your rights and make sure you're protected.
Yeah. And you should gather all your financial documents.
Bank statements, tax returns, all that stuff.
Right. You need to know where you stand financially.
Yeah, and it sounds like having a good team on your side can make a huge difference.
Oh, definitely. It takes a lot of the stress away.
And let's not forget about emotional support.
Right.
We talked about friends and family.
Yeah.
But there are also support groups and therapists.
Yeah. Support groups are great because you can connect with people who get it.
Yeah, they've been there.
Exactly. And a therapist can give you tools to deal with the tough emotions.
Right. It's all about finding the right support for you.
Yeah. And asking for help is not a weakness.
No, it's actually really strong.
It is. It shows you care about yourself.
Exactly.
Wow.
So as you move forward, just remember all the resources that are out there.
And remember, you're not defined by your divorce.
Right.
It's just one chapter in your story.
You get to write the rest of it.
Yeah. And it can be an amazing story.
Filled with joy and purpose and connection.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And even though there might be challenges along the way,
Yeah.
you can handle them.
You're resilient.
You are.
Yeah, so true.
You got this.
It's amazing how much we've covered in this deep dive, huh?
Yeah. We really went deep.
We talked about all the feels after a divorce, the money stuff, where you live, taking care of yourself, and all the support that's out there.
Yeah. And how to start moving forward.
Yeah, like really embracing that new chapter.
Absolutely.
I hope you're feeling like you got some good stuff out of this
Me too.
and that we're feeling a little more hopeful about the future.
Yeah, for sure.
So as we wrap up, let's just hit those key takeaways one more time.
Okay. Sounds good.
The first one is healing takes time. Be patient with yourself.
Yeah. And don't expect to have all the answers right away.
Right, like it's okay to not be okay sometimes.
Exactly. It's a process.
And you are not alone. Reach out to your people, friends, family support groups, therapists.
There are so many people who care and want to help.
Yeah, and take care of yourself.
Yeah.
Eat good food, move your body, get enough sleep.
The basics are so important.
Right, you can't help anyone else if you're running on empty.
That's so true.
And remember, you get to decide what your future looks like.
Yeah.
Embrace those changes. Be open to new things.
Don't be afraid to try something new.
And, really figure out what makes you happy now.
Yeah, it's your life.
It is, and you've already come so far. You're so strong, and you can handle anything.
He really can.
Believe in yourself. Keep moving forward.
Yeah.
Divorce might be the end of one chapter.
But it's the beginning of a new one.
Exactly, and it's a chapter full of possibilities.
Yeah.
You get to create a life that's truly yours.
A life that you love.
One last thing, you are stronger than you think, more resilient than you realize, and way more capable than you probably give yourself credit for.
So true.
Embrace this new chapter with everything you've got.
You got this.
And that's it for our deep dive on life after divorce. Thanks for joining us, and until next time, keep diving deep.